Missing the game-changing moments in business is the difference between winning and losing. So don't let those critical turning points go unnoticed. Welcome to Game Plan Leadership. Our goal is to coach business leaders to team victory by mastering the fundamentals of leadership, transforming teams, and building high-performance habits. I'm Dsy Mayner, founder of Manor Leadership, where we have helped over 1,000 service businesses and their leaders across 50 different industries to build a streamlined, efficient business operation with elite leadership and a united, high-performing team. We are here to set you up to win. Every other week, we're going to drop fresh plays to sharpen your leadership game. If you're ready to stay ahead of the competition and lead your team to your next victory, make sure that you are in the huddle. Join our roster today so you never miss a strategy session. And stay tuned until the end for an actionable game plan that you can start using today to elevate your leadership and take your business to the next level. Let's dive in, Playmakers. Hey, bringing in Playmakers. So this episode is all about uncovering how to spot those critical game-changing moments and those turning points in your business, how to help you pivot fast and turn setbacks into victories. Let's get into it. So let's start right off with how do you define the moments that pivot careers or teams? So let's take a look at sports. So before we do that, let's dig into a couple of points that I want to cover today, which is one, how do we identify those defining moments? So in sports, right, defining moments often come when a team or player faces significant pressure. So like be thinking, what kind of pressure are you facing right now? Or an unexpected obstacle, right? I'm running, there's a brick wall in front of me. So where do you see yourself, right? Is it you're under significant pressure, you've got to win, you got to perform, your team needs to perform, or did something unexpected happen that is now an obstacle? Either one of these situations are going to force you to step up, step back, go around, go under, go over. But in business, these same defining moments are going to often occur during like major shifts in the market. You have an internal crisis, maybe somebody leaves, or you're going to have moments when the company is just going to need to decide to pursue something, maybe a risky opportunity. So that's the first piece, is how do we identify those game-changing moments? And that was the way to do some of those. So the second piece is, once we identify those moments, how do we make quick, maybe even sometimes high-stake decisions when it comes to that type of thing? So in sports, right? So successful sports teams and business leaders, both of them, they train to recognize these critical moments and then make decisive moves that lead to a breakthrough. So they recognize it and then they run a decision-making process, okay, that we're probably going to make a whole nother YouTube video on, so that they can move through that moment, identify it, move through it, make the decisions in order to get that breakthrough. So let's break down some examples here. So one of my favorite games of all time is Michael Jordan's flu game. He felt like crap. He had the flu. So it was game 5 of the 1997 NBA Finals. And he played obviously a pivotal role in a pivotal game, despite being super sick. So he scored 38 points and led the Bulls to winning that game. So why does this matter? So the game is remembered as a defining moment, not just for the score, okay, but because it showcased his determination and ability to push through extreme adversity. So yes, it was the turning point because it was game 5 and it was obviously the NBA Finals, and he had the flu and they won and he scored 38 points. That is a defining moment. He recognized that, he made the decision to push through, and it paid off really well for him and his team. So what's the business lesson out of this? So leaders are often faced, you are probably often faced with situations that demand the same grit and resilience that Michael Jordan had in that moment. Okay, so here's an example. When Apple was struggling financially in the 1990s, they brought back Steve Jobs. Okay, they brought him back into the company. He turned the company around by focusing on just a few core products and obviously rebuilding the brand through innovation and culture. Here's another example. Netflix. Netflix, the thing you probably watched last night, they made the pivot to streaming. So Netflix eventually began as a DVD rental service. Some of you might not even know that. In 2007, they recognized the shift. They identified that game-changing moment. They pivoted their entire business to the streaming platform, which obviously turned out really, really well for them. It disrupted the entire entertainment industry. Okay, so the boldness by Netflix to see where the market was headed and the change that they made in their business model led them to obviously to be a global leader in streaming. So let's talk about sports again. So just like Netflix recognized an opportunity to transform Tom Brady's career, the GOAT, Tom Brady, 7, I believe, Super Bowl championships. Tom Brady's career-defining moment came when he replaced the injured Drew Bledsoe. Okay, so he didn't even become a starter. He was replacing an injured quarterback, and that made him the starter. So the injured Drew Bledsoe, he came in for him. He seized that opportunity, obviously, to lead the Patriots. And then both of these examples, Netflix and this Tom Brady example, show how readiness and ability can create defining moments. So what I like to say is you want to be a warrior in a garden, not a gardener in a war. This episode is brought to you by Manor Leadership, your go-to solution for turning chaotic operations, misaligned teams, and poor communication into winning strategies. Don't let these common challenges hold back your success. Discover the 4 meetings that you need to grow a service company. Simple, effective, and fast meetings designed to boost productivity and impact without micromanaging or overcomplicating things. Head over to MainerLeadership.com/4 meetings to download your free guide today and start transforming your team. Or click the link in the show notes below. At Manor Leadership, we have used this exact communication framework to transform over 1,000 service businesses just like yours. With our tailored leadership consulting, high-impact coaching, interactive workshops, and dynamic keynotes that inspire action and drive real results. Maybe you're ready to elevate your leadership game now. Visit MainerLeadership.com or click the link in the show notes below to learn more and book your free leadership audit today. Okay, so now that we've figured out how to identify those game-changing moments and how to make decisions in those game-changing moments, whether it's a crisis or an opportunity or an obstacle, either way, how to make the decisions to get the breakthrough. So now let's talk about, and we gave you lots of sports examples and business example of how that might apply to your specific situation. Now, the second piece that I want to talk about here is what is the importance of timing and adaptability as you navigate through these game-changing moments, okay? So the first thing is you got to be able to adapt to external changes. So in sports, teams frequently adjust their strategies so that they can counter their opponents to, accommodate injuries, to personnel changes, to weather, all different kinds of things. Coaches make essentially mid-game adjustments or pre-game adjustments or right in the middle of it to help them win despite these unexpected challenges. So what does this look like in business? So in business, companies need to read the market signals. Look for, as the owners, the operators, the leaders of these small businesses, it's our job to see patterns and to predict. So we're going to see more and more and more before, like John Maxwell says. So we need to be able to read the market. We need to be able to pay attention to our competitors. We need to be able to adapt quickly to changes that we're seeing. And ideally, we want to see them before they even come. You want to be looking at the trends, such new technology, shifts in your consumer behavior, in your patients, in your clients, and your customers. So that's one of the things. And you also want to look at balancing consistency with flexibility. Okay, so it's important to stay true to your mission and your core values. But we must also, as leaders, we've got to be flexible enough to pivot when the market conditions demand it. So what I always say when we're talking about missions, goals, core values, primary outcome area worksheets, accountability formulas, all these types of things is like we're not pouring concrete here. Things are going to be fluid. We're going to have to change things. Like everything changes. Obviously, that's pretty much the new mantra after COVID, but also in small business. And then we're growing of like, we're not pouring concrete here. We're pouring a liquid. It's going to be a working document. We're going to need to change. We're going to need to move. And we're going to need to be able to share that with our team, in that they're part of this journey. They're part of this adventure of getting from here to there and moving forward and creating a stronger team, a stronger community, and a stronger business overall. So let's give some examples of this. So the New England Patriots, they had one specific game. So it was in Super Bowl L1, I believe. They at halftime. Okay, so they were down 28-3 against the Atlanta Falcons, I believe. Yes, the Atlanta Falcons. And the Patriots made some key adjustments in the second half so that they could pull off one of the greatest comebacks in Super Bowl history. They came back and won that game after being down 28-3 at halftime. So this comeback, this Patriots comeback in the Super Bowl, was the result of analyzing what was and what wasn't working. Then they made real-time adjustments. So this is essentially a debrief. What went good? What went bad? What did we learn? What are we going to do differently next time? I call it good, bad, learn, do. That's the fastest form of a debrief, and you can run that really quickly, or you can take a really long time and everything in between. So what's the business lesson for this, okay? So when consumer habits begin to shift toward, let's give an example for like McDonald's. If people start buying healthier options, right? A McDonald's needs to adjust by adding salads, healthier snacks, transparency around ingredients. Hey, by the way, this happened. This adaptation actually allowed them to retain a more loyal customer base. Okay, so where do you need to make a slight shift? Where do you need to look at the consumer habits? And you can make some tiny tweaks that might make a big difference. So a business example, you got Adobe. So they made the move from software to subscription. So you could like buy it one time, and now it's a membership, a subscription thing. You pay it over and over. So they were known, Adobe was known for its software packages like Photoshop. But as software moved online, right, they transitioned to a subscription-based model. Now it's Adobe Creative Cloud. So their adaptability allowed them to maintain a competitive edge. So they were watching their competitors, and they remain a competitive edge, and they can establish a consistent revenue stream. So what does this mean? Let's do a sports comparison here. So in sports, teams need to adjust to strategies based on player strengths, player weaknesses, personnel changes, weather, but we have to adapt to those things. So much like Adobe, right, the Adobe Cloud subscription model redefined its strategy to match its evolving market dynamics. Okay, so before we wrap this up, what I want to do is just give you a couple of brands that basically they recognize their game-changing moment. They redefined themselves. They made some decisions, and they navigated being adaptable throughout that process and that journey. So the first one is Marvel. So let's just break this down and make it simple for you. So Marvel is on the brink of bankruptcy, actually. So I actually looked into this. It's pretty cool. They took a massive risk when they self-produced Iron Man, okay? Now, most of you know because of the multiple Iron Mans and now complete blockbuster Marvel Cinematic Universe and all of the videos that have gone into that, it worked. It was a hit. It was an opportunity. Was it a big decision? Yes, it was a big decision. They recognized they were in their game-changing moment. They made a decision. They adapted, and they were flexible, but remained consistent in what they wanted to do in their mission, right, of producing that cinematic universe, especially with Iron Man. Here's another type of business example. Tesla. So Tesla's journey went from a niche electric car to a leader in the EV industry, right, the electric vehicle industry. And basically by pushing innovation and adaptability and flexibility, but remaining consistent to their brand, right, and to their mission, their overall mission, they recognized it was time for a game-changing moment. They made a decision. They stuck with their roots, though, and obviously they've now become more than just a car company. They're the leader in EV and the most innovative approaches to EV that you see on the market. So really the importance of vision and audacity. You got to be able to see more and more before. You got to be able to make really strong possibly even risky decisions. Now, I'm not saying to put all your money on one horse by any means, okay? But what am saying is that you need to have a willingness to not necessarily fully redefine, but make a shift when you're recognizing that you're in one of those pivotal game-changing moments in your business. You might change the whole trajectory of your company. Okay, let's wrap up and give you a quick review. So today, what did we explore? We explored how turning points in sports, okay, just like a halftime of a Super Bowl, parallel exactly to critical moments in business, right? Showing how both arenas, sports and business and small business, need a couple of things. They need resilience, they need timing, and they need you to have the courage to pivot even when the stakes are high and see more before and navigate through it, being consistent and flexible and balancing the two. So from iconic sports comebacks and defining player moments to bold business moves and complete market pivots, the common thread that we're looking at here is adaptability and recognizing when to act decisively. So what is it that you need to adapt to now? What decisive action do you need to take in your business or with your team? So we want to remember that every business faces its own game-changing moments, its own pivotal times. So your success is going to depend on how well you identify these turning points and how well you respond to them. So at the end of every single video, what I like to do is give you a simple tactical action plan so you can take this and you can apply it like today, whatever it is that you're watching this. So the first step of my tactical action plan is to identify your defining moments, right? Reflect on a recent challenge or a turning point that has happened in your business or that maybe even you're looking at right now. Did you seize that opportunity or did you miss it? Are you going to seize that opportunity or are you going to miss it? I want you to look at 3 lessons that you have learned and write them down to keep these insights top of mind. The best thing to figure out how to move forward is to look at how we did in the past, right? And learn from that failure, okay? And build on the strengths, learn from the failure. So that's number 1, is identify some of the defining moments, specifically 3 of them, and write them down so that you can keep those top of mind, so you can learn from them, so you can help to recognize your next one and how to make a decision and how to adapt and be flexible and consistent at the same time. Number 2, I want you to stay ready to pivot. So just set aside, 15, 20, even 30 minutes to review. What are the trends in your industry? What kind of customer feedback are you getting? Is there technology changes? Is there team changes? Is there people changing? What adjustments would put you ahead? Ask yourself that question, write down the answer. What adjustments would put us, our team, our technology, our business ahead of the rest of the competition? And just pick one area where you can start making a really small adjustment now. And that is your tactical action plan of the week. Great huddle, playmakers. This strategy session was packed with powerful plays and game-winning insights designed to elevate your leadership, drive your team to victory, and make your business better than ever. As a coach, both on and off the field for over 20 years, I live for those game-changing moments. And I'm sure that you just scored a few during this episode. Now, it's your turn to make a move. Share your winning plays and your key takeaways by leaving a review wherever it is that you tune in, whether that's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. And don't keep this game plan to yourself. Share this episode with a fellow leader who's in the trenches and who's ready to level up their leadership game. Your feedback fuels my drive and keeps me in the game, crafting these strategies and sharing insights just for you. And if you're ready to take your leadership and operations to the next level, then book a free leadership audit to learn more by visiting us at www.maynerleadership.com. Keep leading strong, stay in the fight, and make today a powerful one. Until next time, keep pushing for victory.